Hi! Welcome to
Hi.
the Anglo-Dutch Treaty.
Oh yeah.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, one side. Then that'll do. We'll do the whole thing. Amy's going mental in the chat. She's like,
Already.
love it!
Need that one too. Yeah, that's about what the part where they get to the Spain and the Germany stuff. So
Oh, yeah, cut it short, definitely.
We don't need that. We don't need that.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Oh, and Amy's got her tea as well. Excellent stuff.
Good. I've got my water and other drinks, but we'll get into that later.
So how you doing, Paul?
Yeah, what's up, Paul?
I'm doing great. I got myself a nice hot cup of coffee.
Oh, how dare you!
So I have no music intro, you guys.
Well, we don't need your version of that. We just need the good anthems. You know. What can I say?
Yeah, you need the real anthems. That's all we need.
The real ones, not the fake ones. Some Star Spangled bullshit and shit. We just need actual banners.
How come you're hiding from us then, Paul? What's that about?
Yeah. Oh, there he is. There he is. Oh no!
What the? Right, that's it. Cancel it. End it now.
Just turn your camera off. Turn your camera.
Well, I had no opportunity for a song, so I had to represent somehow.
I'm representing.
So what's this here? I hear about a treaty. I don't believe I was consulted on.
There's no consultation in the retaking of New Amsterdam, mate.
Yeah. Well, we can keep Haarlem the way it is because that's already a Dutch name, and some other names derived from Dutch cities and shit. But apart from that,
Haarlem is gentrifying nicely as well.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
I must admit, I'm impressed.
I'm glad to be on. Thanks for having me.
That's a real flag. That's not a cheap one, is it?
This one back here. Yeah. This is actually from my. I had to dig this out just for the occasion. It was pretty deep in my storage facility.
Oh, you didn't have to. You didn't have to, really.
Oh, yes, I had.
We feel honored.
Oh, yes, I sure had.
Well, we feel honored that you went through all of the trouble just for us.
Oh, it was no trouble. I love getting Old Glory out.
Yeah, well, it's good to have you, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on. This is my second run on live streaming, so this is fun. Casual today. So
yeah.
Oh,
see, you've got another tiny flag in the background too. I just noticed that. Another.
Oh yes, that's an American flag over there.
Oh, just one of those. Do you wipe your ass with that, or is that just a decoration?
Oh no.
Yeah. Too bad we didn't get first dibs on your face reveal, but Elf. Oh, there he is. Hi, Elf. Hi, Amy as well.
I'll scoop you on that.
Yeah. Hi, Owen. People are coming in. Hi, Chris.
Yeah, but this is the important one at the end of the day. We're going to talk important business here.
Yes. We're going to, discuss knee bending issues. How's your knees? You've been stretching?
My knees are great. I keep pretty fit. You never know when you got to grab your gun when the redcoats are coming.
Ban all guns.
Oh dear. So anyway, Paul, tell us about your corner of America.
Yeah.
My corner of America. Well, from the Northeast, considered within the country the liberal Northeast. known as New England. 6 states make up New England. I'm from the state of Maine, which is one of the 6 states. Grew up here in a small town. Went to school in Maine. I joined the military at a young age. Did some traveling. Got out of the military. These days, I guess you would best describe me as a restaurateur. I've managed restaurants and businesses pretty much on and off. There was a time in my 30s where I was working in Boston for a communications company, and did a lot of traveling with them. That was great. I got to see America.
Nice.
Nice, yeah.
And currently, I'm just kind of having a winter off. I am working, working about 40 hours a week, and it seems like part.
But
and
hang on,
40 hours a week, because you said that you had Mondays and Fridays off, so that means you have real long days then, or how's that work?
Really long days, doubles as it were. They can be 10 to 12 hours. Be open to close.
That's tough. That's tough days then, I reckon. You can imagine.
Yeah, it's a tough springtime. I'm going to be looking to open my own place again, or at least start in earnest shopping for a place.
Nice.
Getting back into business, yeah.
Cool. So, you said you were in the military, and you mentioned this a few times before, but I never really heard you tell us anything more about it. You say you did mention that you were stationed in Germany at some point. How's that?
So I did an interesting thing. I went to college for 2 years, and then I needed money to continue to go to college. So the GI Bill through the military seemed like a good idea. I had 2 brothers that were older brothers that were in the Air Force at the time, and I actually joined the Air Guard so I could go to school while doing my military commitment. But opportunities came up after basic training and after tech school that I was able to go what they call AGR, which is active guard. So I was active duty, but attached to a guard base in my home state. I spent most of the time traveling and training. The longest deployment I had was to Germany. It was Bitburg, Germany, which is right near the Luxembourg border, and that was fantastic.
And back then, it wasn't the war zone it is now, was it?
I can't speak for how it is today, but I tell you, it was absolutely gorgeous then. First bit of time I was there, we were able to travel and see a lot of sights. Desert Shield, I'm dating myself now, broke out shortly after I was there, so we were pretty much confined to base and can do a lot of traveling and sightseeing and such.
Yeah, that's.
And I saw an awesome amount of air hardware coming from the United States, landing, gassing up, and then heading towards the Middle East. I never even could conceive that anyone could have that number of airplanes. It's unbelievable. Of every type.
Just the U.S.
Yeah.
So it was sort of the last landing point before they headed off to where they were going to drop their bombs or whatever they were going to do.
Yeah, they would. Ramstein's the big Air Force base in Germany. We were at Bitburg Air Base. It was 24 hours a day, planes landing, planes taking off, every type for weeks on end.
Isn't that the air base where they, when soldiers get like shot in Afghanistan and Iraq, they get flown to there first of all? Because I know that, in the British Air Force, that they fly soldiers from the front line who are wounded up to Germany pretty much straight away.
It seems that would be Ramstein, but that would make sense. That's a massive Air Force base that we still.
It does sound familiar, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I know about it. Well, a German base where British planes and I think American ones land as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was a great time. That was fantastic.
How long were you there for?
What's that?
How long were you there for?
In Germany, a little less than a year.
Okay.
And that was a good time. Just the entire tone of everything, though, when we went from, you know, a non-war staff up for Desert Storm. Just the whole tone of being in the military changed, obviously.
Yeah, because did you know that there were chances of that happening before you were deployed, or was that?
It was not to me. I was very young at the time. I kept up with you know, political affairs, but not not a great deal. When that whole thing went down, it was a surprise, I think, pretty much to everyone when Saddam invaded Kuwait.
All right. So tell me about what was your mindset like when you head out, when you got on the plane to Germany? Were you thinking like, I'm probably just gonna have a good time and do my duty? And
yeah, we were already in Germany when that went down, and it was just a lot of questions. Basically, what they do is they leapfrog. I was in a civil engineering squadron. So we were in charge of maintaining the base buildings, roads, and such during peacetime. But during wartime, we were civil engineers, rapid runway repair. It was our job to take a air base that was bombed out, make it fully functional in as little time as possible.
Wow.
We were complete. We had everything from draftsmen and surveyors, which was my end of it, all the way to plumbers, electricians, welders, front end. But there was a great deal of time of wondering if we were going to be forward deployed. But it worked out that we didn't have to be, and that was nice.
Luckily, yeah.
I had a brother actually flew. He flew refueling jets, and he saw a fair amount of action over there. Well, you know, not on the ground action, but he refueled a lot of planes over Baghdad.
Yeah, I reckon that's pretty pretty tense, because anytime, anywhere, something may happen, and you're still over Afghanistan at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I didn't even know, because of course you do realize that I do realize that there's a lot of that there's not just soldiers in the army or Marines, but I didn't know that there were that many jobs, so to say, in a base like that.
The Air Force and Navy in particular, I think, have the MOS or jobs that you can get within those branches is incredible. The technologies that they deal with, especially in the Air Force, you know, all branches, but in particular those two.
Yeah, because they use mechanical equipment the most, I guess.
Yeah. And that's a lot of planes and boats to maintain, you know.
Yeah.
Once the contractors give them up to the military, it's up to them to maintain them and keep them in running order, mission ready. But I had a fantastic experience in the military. I was young. You know, once I was out of the States, I was able to drink, which I wasn't at the time in the States.
One of the best things about being European, mate.
Well,
so
I
now
learned
you're dating yourself.
Yeah. Well, I learned how to drink and play darts in Germany.
Oh yeah.
A real European sport, that is.
Sport.
Particularly if you can do it at the same time, drinking and playing darts at the same time, literally.
Yeah, exactly.
At the same time.
Yeah.
There you go.
So that was my experience there. Touring the country, I worked for this was in my 30s. I worked for a marketing company out of Boston. And basically what they would do, I wish I had some good advice from Bunty.
Yeah. Very good. Go on.
But,
he knows how to build a brand, doesn't he?
Yeah. He's a household name. So, we put together road tours. Basically, I had 3 clients, Hewlett-Packard, Polaroid, and Walmart. And what we did is anytime they released a new, at the Consumer Electronics Show, which they do in Vegas every January, they would introduce their new technology that they would be selling. And we would put together road tours with this new technology. At the time, it was digital cameras was the new thing. And basically, any new HP device or any new Polaroid device, we put a tour van together, and that would travel to all the Walmarts or other vendors who actually sold these devices, train the individual staffs how the device worked, and then spend a day pitching it to the public, putting on a show or whatever. So after a while,
like a sales rep.
It was the colorful and actually set up right in the parking lot with onboard computers, printers, scanners, cameras and such. we would have 2 demonstrators for each van, and they would just spend the day taking pictures of customers and such, printing off stuff, showing them how everything worked. That was a great job, and we had multiple vans on the road at any given time. So that was the opportunity. I spent a number of years just driving, crossing the United States up and down, back and forth.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Is that also what you went to college for?
No, actually, initially, before I went to the military, I went to college for 2 years. I was studying, just basic required courses for, liberal arts, because I hadn't really declared a major yet. After the military, I went back to school and studied history and pretty much history. A lot of business, but mostly history.
What part of what history did you learn? Sorry.
A little bit of everything, but of course, American history from.
So what? It was about what, a week-long course then? Especially on the subject of America.
Yes, well, I think at least for an American that I'm pretty well-rounded in history. You
probably know more about world history than I do. So.
So
what did you learn about the War of 1812 then? Tell us, Paul.
Well, I can tell you something.
Yeah,
we almost went to war. I do know that Maine at that time was called Massachusetts territories. So I don't know exactly what the arrangement was, but we weren't technically part of the state, but we were managed by the state of Massachusetts.
Okay.
The Redcoats came and occupied basically the eastern half of my state.
Yeah.
Massachusetts at the time was rather sympathetic to the crown, and Massachusetts and Connecticut, 2 other New England states, I guess, were contemplating possibly secession, not really sure what they're going to do. But as I understand it, there was militias starting to be formed in Maine, not to go run the Redcoats off, but to go take care of the state of Massachusetts for not sending their militia up to take care of you Redcoats.
Love it. Yes.
Yeah. So
you were this close to being British once before, mate. We got to close that gap now.
No. See, as I understand it, the plan was to go kick Massachusetts' ass before we turned around and ran your bloody Redcoat asses out of the state.
Yeah, all right, if you say so.
I understand it.
Because your tiny little state could have done all of that.
Against Great Britain, yeah.
Yeah. It took the French so you didn't lose the War of 1812.
The French.
That says enough.
Why do you have to bring that into it, Jay?
Luckily, he is there.
Polite conversation here.
How's it going to be polite conversation with that thing in the background?
Oh, glory.
It's like an act of war straight out the bat. He turns on his webcam and it's like, boom, deal with it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just wearing a Dutch football kit here. I'm just keeping it on the down low. But
now this is a very American thing too, especially from some states. If I could have found it, I would have preferred to have my state flag hanging back there, with perhaps this one on the side. But that's just personal taste.
All right. Cool.
I like how Aiden's like, oh, the old White House was shit anyway. We did you a favor burning it down.
Yeah, so by saying we, Aiden implies that he's also part of the treaty, I guess. So.
Well, he is Canadian, so.
Yeah, Commonwealth, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how that goes.
Do we have any other Americans up in here? I see Alf and Rogue.
They're Mexican. They don't count. There's no real Americans in the chat, I guess.
Yeah, true that.
So Jay, I guess since I'm nearly out of coffee, I have a little business we need to take care of here.
Oh, we got the tea, mate.
Got a little something. I got.
The official.
Yes.
Codified.
Yes. And I didn't have to go to the post office and pay anything to get it either.
Yeah, I know, right? What's that about? That's because I filled in a customs form correctly.
All right, there it is. Tea bag.
Yes.
By the way,
I've already used mine up. Sadly.
Well, I said I'd save it until we were live streaming. So.
Oh yeah.
Just a moment here.
But do you know what the funny thing is I need to refill mine, so I got my pot. I'm on it.
I'm gonna fill this up later.
Oh
The
yeah,
stream.
we'll get to that. We'll get to that subject very soon, won't we?
Yeah. Oh yes.
All right, so this is tea, they say.
They do indeed.
It's a letter
I've only ever seen this in Boston Harbor.
Oh,
where it doesn't belong.
exactly.
So what do you do with it at this point?
You snorted. You get a straw, and up the nose it goes.
Interesting fact, right? So I sent people all different teas. I sent Alfie the most commoner tea I could find in my cupboard. I was like, he Mexican, so he get the commoner tea. I sent Paul one of the best. I sent him English breakfast tea. No, I sent you Twining's English breakfast tea.
Okay. Breakfast then.
Yeah, I think I got that too, right?
I think you did, or you got everyday tea.
Twinings, is that the brand? Is that necessary? Does that need to be the brand?
Oh yeah, it does. That's got Her Majesty's royal seal of approval because they have been providing tea to Her Majesty's family for well, more than 5 years minimum, because that's how long it takes before you can have a royal seal.
Damn.
Yeah,
That's so official.
All right, we'll give it a shot.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Drink your water if you don't have tea.
Oh, this is like the tea down in the Chinese restaurant.
What's he like?
Can you taste the queen?
Can you taste that?
Chunk of my tea.
Can you taste that Britishism running through your body now?
Yeah, something running through my body.
Can you feel it?
I like how Alfie's. I threw my tea in the harbour anyway.
Oh yeah. Well, doesn't count.
Yeah. As I said, I'm just enjoying the winter semi off. Contemplating what the spring's gonna bring. The business I'm looking to do is going to be very seasonal. The last time I had a restaurant, it was open. It was great. I opened April 1st and I closed Halloween.
Nice.
Yeah.
Had the winters off. I would work in the winters. I had a couple friends who had restaurants that stayed open year round, so I would have a cook or pour drinks or do whatever. I gotta be busy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're not one of those managers that sits around on the rest all day long and.
No, I'm in this game because I love this game. Ever since I was little and I saw Cheers and I saw Sam Malone, it's like, that's what I want to do. And my first job was in a kitchen washing dishes for an Austrian chef, which was very interesting. Yeah, he spoke English, but I couldn't understand him. All I understood was lunch plates. Big way, I need lunch plates. So
did he sound like Schwarzenegger a lot? Yes.
Yeah, he was Christoph Grunenfeder.
Grunenfeder.
Wow, that is a proper Austrian name, isn't it?
Sounds very German at least.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll go.
So, yeah, I always loved to cook. Got into cooking. Got into the front of the house. Realized that that's where the money was, and you can punch out before last call, so you can go spend that money.
Yep.
Nice.
Front of house work is a lot better than kitchen. I can tell you that, definitely.
Kitchen, it's hard work. It's hard work. That's why, at least in the part of the world I'm from, you encounter so many drug with big problems in that industry because comparatively easy job to get because there's a high turnover because of the stress and the amount of work.
Yeah, and it's low pay.
Fantastic people.
Yeah, and being a chef or kitchen porter or whatever, it's always shit pay. At least when you're doing bar or waitering, at least you get those tips and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've never worked in catering or in restaurants or whatever, and I don't fancy to either because
thank you stars, mate. Thank you, lucky stars.
Well, the thing is here too in the summer. Tourism is our number 1 or 2 industry here in Maine. I mean, the coast of Maine, it's a ghost town right now. It's a snowy ghost town. But in the summer, from the New Hampshire border all the way up to Portland is beaches, successive beaches, one right after the other. So in the summertime, Boston empties out, and they're all on our beaches. The amount of money that servers and bartenders can make here, dedicated, hard-working ones, because tips are very different here in the States than they are over where y'all are from. You can make a killing. In fact, when I bought my first restaurant, it was with bartender tips. I would summer in Maine, on the coast, and I would winter either in New York City or Florida, and just keep the season rolling, you know, year round. And you know, if you simply, you know, a duffel bag and a guitar, so I had no expenses, and I was just banking a lot of money.
Yeah, can't beat that at all, can you?
But it's hard work, and I see a lot of people in this industry who make a fortune and then, you know, spend it in the next hour and a half right downstairs at the bar.
Well, they're bad at managing their money then. That sucks. Well, so now now you're a restaurateur, you said, and is that something you see yourself doing, like, for basically until when you're done working, or?
Oh yeah, you know, I learned a lot of lessons the first time I got involved. I've opened a lot of name for myself locally. The last gig I did was for a self-proclaimed work. I ran their authentic Oaxacan cuisine restaurant, which is a territory in southern Mexico. Food was absolutely awesome, and it was a tequileria as well. We had like 92 tequilas, and ran that with great success, but that ended poorly. And that's why I decided it's time. I don't know.
Sorry to interrupt you, Paul, but Tice, does he keep cutting out for you?
Yeah, we're losing you every so often. It's like you cut out for 3 seconds and then we hear you fine again. But like we can make out most of what you're saying then, so that's okay. That's probably your internet acting up, as you said earlier. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Well, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, we can hear you now. But
I closed a couple tabs. Yeah, I think it's just my router.
Oh, okay, it's weird because your camera keeps going, but it's just the audio cuts out for me at least. That's what I'm seeing. Yeah, maybe the man else says. Yeah, okay. But how come, if I may ask, why did that business you mentioned go downhill?
Okay, well, it had no reason to go downhill. We were doing gangbusters. The owner, the celebrity chef, and her husband. The reason they brought me up to run this restaurant was in Portland. Was because they were opening a new multi-million-dollar restaurant in Kennebunkport.
Ooh.
Which they did. They overextended. Long story short, they overextended themselves, and they basically sapped the business I was running for all of the money, including all of the payroll for me to spend on my employees. You know, money to buy food, money to buy booze, money to keep the licenses current. So that was the state of affairs before I basically gave the owners an ultimatum and said, you can't expect me to run a business. But, you know, I'm writing checks to employees that are not clearing. I will not do this. So we will not open today until everybody is paid in full. And at that point, everybody was way behind on pay, myself included. But and that was the last day the business was open. And they subsequently closed their new business, and they're kind of laying low.
Oh, I wonder why.
Yeah, sad that it had to end that way because it seemed like you were having a good time there.
Yeah, I had a great crew. Very small, super busy. Portland is a very foodie city. It's recognized as such in a lot of magazines, national magazines, Down East Magazine. A great little city for food and beverage. The Old Port is the part of the district of Portland, which is right on the water. It has like just an insane amount of restaurants and bars. And it's the old part of the city too. Everything's brick, cobblestone. You know, we do get a little bit of that here, like you do in the old city.
The rest is all made of wood?
Yes.
Fair enough.
Oh yeah, I love the state. I love being on the coast. I'm old enough, and if need to be near the water. I appreciate the seasons in the state. Winter is a little long, but if you enjoy a couple winter sports, it certainly helps make it go by. Got a couple good ski mountains.
Yeah, because you've been telling us about just
Hang on,
mornings
so you've got a beach and you've got ski mountains as well.
Hey, this is the state of Maine. We got it all: lakes, rivers. We're in the woods up here. Got, like, I think it's because the coast is so jagged. I think it's something like 2,300 linear miles of coastline.
Whoa!
We got the only national park east of the Mississippi, Acadia National Park, which is spectacular. We got some pretty substantial mountains here. The Appalachian Mountains, Mount Katahdin, Mount Washington, which is actually not far from here in New Hampshire. But it's a beautiful part of the country.
I can match the sea, but the closest mountain we've got is probably in Switzerland somewhere. Well, Germany too, but it's not really close to me. You've got basically all you need in within a day's drive, I reckon.
That's one of the things that makes Acadia National Park so spectacular. The fact it's Mount Desert Island, so the entire thing is an island, and the only reason that island is there is because when the glaciers retreated, it basically carved that island, and it is mountains literally shooting up from the end. They're not substantial mountains, but they look pretty substantial when they're coming right up out of the ocean. So, Acadia National Park. Take your lady. It's very romantic. Jordan Bond.
I'll keep that in mind.
Give us all the romantic spots, eh?
And we'll visit your restaurant then after.
Yes. So yeah, I would.
We'll never go for dinner.
Summer in Maine. I spent winters, as I said, either in New York City or in Florida. Different parts of Florida. Yeah,
what's your favorite part of Florida? I must admit, I've always wanted to go to Florida. It's beautiful.
I like different parts of it for different reasons. I don't necessarily like inland Florida. There's a lot of hillbillies, it seems. East Coast is very spring break and party, party beaches. West Coast is like and a lot of money. Good God, there's a lot of money in the West Coast of Florida. Fort Myers down to Marco Island. There's some very rich people in this country.
Yeah, I was gonna say Florida is what I've heard the pensionado state, right? Parts of it at least, where rich people, if they're done,
the old timers go.
Yeah, they refer to it as God's waiting room.
God's waiting.
That says it all. Yeah,
that is brilliant.
The West is spectacular. Oh, which reminds me, I got a special shout out for someone. Hi, Kelly.
Is she even here yet?
I don't know.
You're probably gonna have to repeat that when she's here, but she won't mind.
Send Kelly all the love.
Yeah.
So what other? Sorry, go on. I was just going to ask, so what other parts of the US have you been to? Tell us.
I spent, as I said, with that marketing company I worked for out of Boston, I actually spent most of my time working out of Vegas because that's where we actually purchased the vehicles and put the graphics on them and outfitted it. And so it was my job to organize all that. So I actually spent a great deal of time living in the Mirage Hotel and Casino. Paid for.
Nice.
Quite nice. I'm not much of a gambler.
I was about to ask, how much did you spend on gambling?
Well, here's the thing. I'm the kind of guy. I'll go to the casino the first night, and the lights, and everything smells good, and I'm wowed with that. I get caught up. The game that's most enjoyable to me is the worst game you can possibly play odds-wise, and that's roulette. But it's a blast. But I get bored with it after my first 2 or 3 hours on my first night. I never gamble again.
Fair enough.
Well, sort of that's actually an inbuilt protection mechanism, I guess, from saving yourself from losing too much money.
Yeah, I get quite bored with it. Poker, though, I don't get bored with that because that's a game of strategy and odd.
Yes, for sure. I mean, you got to stay focused on that and play it cool. Yeah. I'm not into gambling too much myself.
In ages. It's been a couple of years since I last played poker. think the last time I played poker was like in Cornwall, actually.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Whoever goes to Cornwall, why would you want to be there?
Hey, Cornwall's not that bad.
Who lives there? I mean,
yeah, who lives there? I mean,
it's actually quite beautiful.
We probably know the one cool person from Cornwall. That's it.
Whoa, calm down, lads. Like, hold your horses a little bit.
Yeah, okay. Sean might disagree with me. By the way, where is he? Where is everyone from Discord? We got some people representing, but
nah, fuck them all. Who cares?
Fuck them all. You see Aiden. Aiden's
paying attention.
Alf, Amy. Hi guys. Rogue's here, I think. Yeah, I posted the link in the Discord chat, but people are not.
You see, Rogue, you have no reason to forgive me. I have not.
She's satisfied for the moment.
Rogue, before we went live, he did bend the knee, so.
Support your clam.
Defend your clam.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So, I was, yeah, you've already asked that one. Don't worry. Go on, Tice.
No, I was gonna say it's only 20 minutes by my according to my clock until we get to party.
Oh shit!
Oh yeah.
I didn't even notice the time. I've just been having
like it's 1999.
I would know. I was only 5 back then.
I was 9 years old, and Man United won the Champions League. So 1999 was a good year.
Was that when Ruud van Nistelrooy played there, or was that?
I didn't understand what you said. When
was that played? When Van Nistelrooy played there from Man U? No, yeah.
No, that.
Or was that?
No, was that? Yeah, I can't remember, to be honest with you. Like,
yeah, you were only 9 too. Yeah, that's a Dutch football player, Paul. Actual football player, football.
My favorite player back then was Peter Schmeichel. Actually, I love Peter Schmeichel, one of the greatest goalkeepers ever.
Danish goalkeeper. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Aiden's got me covered. He showed up in 01, he says. Ah, okay.
Yeah, it was after.
Yeah, but Aiden and I, according to the chat.
Yes. I reckon you are, apparently.
Revolution has begun.
You don't watch football, do you, Paul?
American football, my New England Patriots just lost in the Super Bowl to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, the white supremacy got defeated there.
Oh yeah, the white racists and white supremacy got totally destroyed that day, didn't it?
Yeah.
My guys, they've gone to 8 Super Bowls and won 5. This particular dynasty, Tom Brady and such. So I guess we can't.
That's a good record, I think.
That is the record right now.
Yeah.
How many times have they won it in total throughout the whole sort of Super Bowl history? I don't know how long the Super Bowl's been going because I don't know.
The entire team history. I'm not. I don't know that number. I don't.
Fair
I'm not familiar with the sport either. To me, it looks like they've got a break every 10 seconds. Then someone punts a ball forward, someone runs after it, and they all huddle up, touch each other's asses.
Yeah,
it's not to love.
And then it's another. It's
not like
break.
a scrum or anything, but. I mean, talk about touching asses.
But I mean, to me, it seems like a lot of these American sports, baseball, basketball, American football, they're all made to be monetized and to be advertised on. So whenever there's a break, they can play a quick ad, or whenever there's a timeout, they can play a quick ad. Whenever someone's made a home run, some fat dude who can only score points by hitting a home run because he's way too slow if he doesn't. They play another ad. It's that's to me what it looks like, and it could be biased, of course. But
yeah, now all the teams are starting to show up with corporate logos on their uniform and such. All of the stadiums are named after corporations. I mean,
yeah, that sucks.
It is. I guess I don't have an opinion on that one way or the other, but
and also funded by public money, if I'm right.
Public money.
A lot of the stadiums are built with public money, aren't they?
Yeah, it's up to the municipality, the city, to offer whatever tax breaks and incentives they want to build a franchise and build a stadium in their city.
That's weird. Yeah, we do have some of the same constructions here too, where some Dutch football teams are also, they're also getting their stadiums funded and paid for by the municipality, and then they either have to pay it back or it's just a gift, and they expect them to attract tourism and whatever in return. That's all kinds of fucked up.
Absolutely, it's part of the agreement. Yeah, it's part of the deal.
Yeah, even though in the end it's cheating in a way, because that's like 500 million euros in this case that you don't have to spend on building a stadium, that you can spend on player salaries, attracting other players, and shit.
Yeah,
that's the way it goes, and that sucks. So Paul,
yes.
how was your last weekend? Because I do recall.
Yes, it was. I'm becoming quite a fan of the sport of bowling.
Yes, bowling.
It never occurred to me what a spectator sport it really is. A friend of mine just opened locally. We had a large grocery store close, and it sat vacant for the longest time. And I actually considered, perhaps doing something there once or twice, but nobody could think what best would fit there. And this friend of mine is a chef and well known in the area, and he decided to open a restaurant/bowling alley. So it's an upscale restaurant, beautiful bar, and I think they got 6 lanes and a big game room. It's beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice.
So
what's beautiful exactly? The bowling itself, or
the bowling lane. It's where I meet friends.
Yeah, your friends. Yeah, of course.
It's where I meet friends.
That's what I call them too. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know. That might be all I'm at liberty to say. Depends.
The truth is Paul's been listening to me going out bowling and with my friends, and he's like, "What? I can't have this little young'un outdoing me. What?" And he's got to get up off his ass.
Well, it's kind of nice. I mean, any relationship I've been has always seemed to be from long term to long term. So this is kind of a nice break for me.
Yeah, breath of fresh air.
Yes, and that's all I have to say about that.
Of course, that's all you have to say about that. I think there's more.
Wait a minute, Kelly's not watching. Okay, I can talk plenty.
Yeah, of course not.
Yeah, it's not like we're recording this and putting this on the internet forever.
Yeah. It's not like it's going to be up forever.
Is that?
I don't think Kelly will mind though. She's fine with that, probably.
Hey, eventually they all want to shout at the title. That's what.
Yeah, I recall you saying that. Yeah, that's very true.
Let's be honest. All you got to do is just wrap it all up with talking about your retirement, and then she'll forget anything you said beforehand.
Yeah, her kink is just coming home after work and seeing her man read a paper and just being happy. She told us all about that. So that's
oh yeah, tea game. That's the only thing, Paul. You got to lose on the tea game because she wants to see you drinking tea.
Yep. That too.
I could drink coffee out of a tea cup. I guess you could teacup. Not much.
What did they call those things? A tea cup?
Your cup, mate.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this spring, I'm going to be shopping. That's the one lesson I learned the last time I was in business. As my dad told me when I got married, when I bought this particular restaurant, was it seems to me the only people who make money in this business are the landlords. And there was a great deal of wisdom in that, because to properly make a very good business, you need to own the property and be your own landlord.
Oh yeah, landowning is the way forward, obviously, definitely, especially when it comes to those sorts of industries.
Yeah.
But my motivation isn't to make a great deal of money. I know that I will and I can. It's just I love the business. I love food. I love good drink. I like noises associated with the business, people laughing, etc.
And I guess the satisfaction you bring to people by providing them with just a good time in the form of having them over, having them enjoy their stay, if you will, their dinner, whatever.
And it's a show. It really is. You're performing a show for them.
Mm-hmm.
I did some theater way back in the days in school, and I can definitely see how that applies to this business, is giving them a show.
Mm.
So how would that apply in practice?
I can tell you how it applies in bowling. Actually, I might not be able to tell you how it applies in bowling.
well, I can tell you how that would apply in bowling. If you're staring at the prize the entire time, and then she throws whatever, and then you can act as if you saw that, as if you saw what she hit. Yeah, good job. Yeah, perfect.
It displays the score for you right on the screen above, so you know.
Yeah, that too. But you can also act as if you weren't staring at the prize the entire time.
Indeed.
Very important.
So yeah, there's as Jay would put it, there seems to be a lot of birds that I'm familiar with that show up at this particular bowling alley. It is new, so it's kind of the gathering spot, especially for all the people in the industry.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
How long's it been open now?
Geez, it's only been a matter of months. I think he opened just after Christmas.
Oh, crikey.
Yeah.
So, and it's blowing up.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Always
Awesome.
make sure you're dressed sharp when you go there, just in case.
Oh,
Just
absolutely.
In case any bird
This is
show.
sharp, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
I've got mine in the background over there, wrapped over a pillow. Not sure if that's
I'm not wearing mine today.
Oh, you're wearing
representing the bomb.
Billy Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it'd represent the Dutch part of the Anglo-Dutch treaty. Today.
I'm representing with the T as always. So.
Yeah. I'm also representing with that, the beer shoddy, and also going back in time. I've got spices. Spices we brought home from overseas, from our territories, which we're gonna get back soon.
Yes, we are.
Which we deserve. Dutch American, Dustin?
A lot of Dutch influence in the Caribbean, that's for sure. And South America as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. Sugar.
All of that sugar. And also South Africa and Indonesia. And actually, that's one error our comrades in treaty made after, I believe it was the Second World War. They told us to leave Indonesia because they were like, well, we helped liberate you. So you're kind of holding on to that colony undeservedly. So, and after that, it turned into an Islamic shithole.
What a fucking surprise, eh? Decolonialism was a fucking disaster.
Go figure.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. Well, mistakes were made.
Unfortunately so.
Yeah. Dustin says it's Dutch American solely because it's a Nike shirt. Well, no, I'm more concerned about this part right here, the Dutch lion, and also the fact that its color is
orange, which always comes back to William the Orange.
Indeed, yes, William of Orange.
With eyeworms of orange, yeah.
Yeah, the orange is somewhere over, over there and on the other side of that pond.
So it's almost time for the other event of tonight's stream.
Yes, it is.
I'm gonna dump the link in a place or two if you guys are all right with that.
Oh yeah, cool.
I don't know what you're talking
about. See who we can get in here.
Aiden, South Holland is actually a province. Get your facts straight, but I do get what you're saying there. Belgium is indeed just wannabe Holland is what I call it. Flanders,
one thing I think it's important for you guys to notice: there's plenty of blue here. So
and red.
Room to stitch up a couple stars right up in here.
Oh no, there is not. What there is room to do is to cut that all up and turn it into a correct order of a flag. I think we could make two flags out of that.
Yes, for sure. I can see how we would change that.
What the hell is going on in here?
We get a Mexican joining us. How about that?
I see some fruity bald guy. This guy who belongs in a harbor.
What? In a harbor? You know what? Get the fuck out of here.
And this awesome patriotic American that I salute.
Do you want me to bench press you just for reps?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Hey, Alf. I'm good, man. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good.
Getting ready for the celebratory drinks.
Celebratory drink. Oh, I don't. I might have some drinks.
Yeah, I'll forget your liquor. Right, so
It's like,
for everyone else.
pretty bald guy.
So this is what I've got for us tonight. Some
Yeah.
Grolsch.
What is
It's gonna
that?
be
Urine?
beautiful. Fuck off, Alfie. This is Scotch whiskey, mate. Fuck you.
I got to step away
Scotch?
to
Why not
prepare
Irish,
myself.
man? Irish whiskey's way better than Scotch.
No, because
Yeah,
Jameson's.
man.
who the fuck?
Jameson, hell yeah, Jameson or Powers or Telemadur.
Jameson's
Jameson's is the
quite nice.
standard. Oh, here's a little unknown or little known bar trivia. How do you spell whiskey?
Oh yeah, we spell it
Oh.
different here. Oh, there you go.
The
I
English,
got a beer.
Oh, nice. I've got a
Does beer
specialty.
count?
Yeah, I've got a specialty.
Okay, you got beer.
I've got
Texels.
Tessels. Yeah, Tessels. It's
Texels.
yeah, it's because
Is it-
we've got a bunch of islands to the north of the Netherlands, and this is from them, and the island is called Texel without the S.
Texels.
Yeah, and it's named after because you can see a lighthouse on the front of that.
It's probably one of those little dolls. Like, sorry, something fell.
All right, I got to step away for a second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem.
Sure, it's the best Dutch
Jameson
beer
greater than
2017.
Bushmills for sure, Aiden. Definitely better than Bushmills. Bushmills sucks. Oh yeah,
I
but
have no
we
idea.
spell whiskey without the E. Do you guys spell it with the E?
Jay.
we spell it with the E. That was basically what I was going to say to Paul.
Oh yeah. We spell it without the E here in the US.
Because you're uncivilized.
No, because we don't need fucking extra useless letters, so we get rid of them. That's why you British people are so fucking confused all the time. You got all these extra letters to think about that don't make any sense.
Dustin just asked, is the lighthouse lasering those birds?
It's like English people think they're playing Wheel of Fortune. Like, I'd like to buy a vowel. It's like, why is there an extra vowel in there?
Oh shit! We all know what's going to happen now, don't we?
No, it's not that show.
It's
the
time
Dutch
for
radio.
the Jamie
Oh, it's the Jamie Show.
What's up, guys?
Hi,
Hello,
Amy.
Amy. How nice of you to join us in this stream, and also
You know,
the
the
exec-
Americans outnumber everyone else.
No, the Commonwealth outnumber everybody else.
No.
I'm an honorary member of the Commonwealth.
he's an
so-
honorary
Well, I was
member.
going to say, Tice, that this is a room full of people from an imperial state family and two fucking barbaric tribes.
Also, Alf, you don't
I'm
count
cool with that.
as an American. You're half Mexican. So
No, I'm not Mexican at all. Fuck you, man.
So, Jay, what are we toasting here?
Yeah.
Well, in literally 3 minutes, it will be my birthday.
Oh,
So-
yeah, it's going to be your birthday.
Oh, it is
Oh,
in 3
I've got it ready
minutes.
up
Unlike
here.
G, no, there's like 8 hours left. Sorry.
Well,
no, you're not in the correct time zone, Amy.
I know.
Yeah, Jay, you're like 5 hours before your birthday. You're wrong.
well, technically,
Metric system.
if you want to be more accurate, I wasn't born until about 1:45 in the morning, so I'm like an hour and 45 minutes early.
Yeah,
Well,
nobody
Was there
does
a
that.
star in the east?
fuck it. We'll do it live.
Exactly.
Do it live. Fuck it. We'll do it live.
Do it live.
But yeah, I got my.
Hey, I'll be polishing off the last of my good tequila for this.
Amy's still in her workout clothes. Nice.
Yeah.
I like
I'm going to
like
go back again.
I like you sweaty.
Nice and sweaty.
Amy's given me the perfect present of cleavage this year.
The perfect present of
Is mine not good enough for you, Jay? Jeez.
Yeah.
Mine is better. Come on.
Yeah,
Jay's not
I'm sure
satisfied with Tice's cleavage.
No, we all know.
Dutch cleavages are the best cleavages.
I gotta work on my pecs, apparently. I know what you're saying. Yeah. What have
No,
you
you
been
got to work
working
on your
on?
tits. Your pecs are great.
It's not cleavage, it's cleavage.
If you want to get the same effect.
Amy knows
Right.
all about that.
So anyway, cheers, motherfuckers.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
1 more minute on my watch, buddy.
Fuck it. Let's get on with it.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I didn't expect
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jamie. Happy birthday to you. And long live the Queen.
Long live the Queen. Oh yeah.
Long live the Queen, mate.
Happy birthday, Jay.
Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
Jay.
Jay. We
how
love
old are
you.
Too
I
many
love you
more.
all too.
How old are you, Jay?
28 now.
Oh, you're old. That's it.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah, no more 27. That was a turning point for me.
Well, a couple of mates said I would end up dead and I'd end up being in the 27 club, so I'm happy.
So,
So,
old?
how's your back feeling, Jay?
Oh, mate, my back is killing me.
Aw.
That's what happened. See, you just turned 28. Now your
Like
fucking
that.
back hurts.
Yeah.
It's just like that from 1 minute to the next, man.
Wow.
It was the drink. He threw his back out.
He throws his back out, lifting his drink.
We're in the future now.
Oh shit.
Oh my God.
It's
Amy
IMAX.
brought out her future glasses.
Everything's in 3D, guys.
Oh,
Amy, in the future, how has America been divvied up between the British and the Dutch? Tell us.
I'm not going to give it all away. But
Oh,
America may have become Britain again.
oh,
And also Dutch. And also Dutch.
That's so cute.
we did have Dutch people in America.
Yep.
Yeah,
Speaking of which,
before
you're
it became
welcome.
America.
No, my gosh.
Jay, did you see that map I sent you today on Discord?
map.
Yeah, it's a map of all of the countries that Britain has not invaded.
So what?
Apparently,
6?
apparently there's only 23 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, it's basically a map of the globe that is entirely red with a couple of white dots, and the white dots represent.
Nice. I'm
Where
good.
y'all
I must have
invade.
missed it because I had to go out this morning and stuff. So,
Colonialism.
ooh, God, love that colonialism. Oh,
Nobody wants to go over.
Okay, enough about you. Let's talk about Amy.
Amy's on a workout high, you guys. She's
you
dope.
guys-
on
I
that
feel
dopamine.
weird.
Amy, do you guys in Canada spell whiskey without the E? Because I seen Aiden just wrote it without the E.
What?
they-
No, it has an E in it.
Huh?
Whiskey
Oh, yeah,
has
we-
an E in it.
yes.
Oh
thank
yeah,
you,
we did put an
Amy.
E in it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Well, there's actually one exception. America and Ireland
I think-
use the E.
I think
Scotland and
Scotland-
Canada do
Yeah.
not.
Scotland don't. Yeah.
The one exception to
Really?
that rule is Maker's Mark whiskey.
The easiest way to check is I'm going to get the bottle.
Yeah, that's right. It's Scotch whiskey. Yeah, they don't put the E in it.
Why did you mute? You don't want us to hear you walking away? Baby, come back!
Just for Dustin. So yeah, it does look like this lighthouse is actually lasering the birds, shooting them out of the sky. I see what you mean there. But I was pointing at that.
Whiskey
Best
versus
Dutch beer.
whiskey.
So
What
I'm
is that?
sampling
Is that
one of our local
scumfuck?
Michael Brews.
It did look like that, didn't it?
It did for a se- Oh, scum
No,
clock.
it's at it's dialect for so on when you've got waves coming up, there's these wide heads of foam, and this basically is foam head, literally translated.
I like it.
Yeah.
So
It's-
I was reading this thing and it says the rule is countries that have E's in the name, like United States and Ireland, tend to use E in whiskey. Countries
Yeah.
without E, like Canada, Scotland, and Japan, tend to leave the E out.
So
Yeah.
does that mean we're
Yeah,
gonna have
right.
to spell Chrissy with an E now?
No, Chris, I guess it makes sense for
Maker's
Kelly.
Mark, I know,
Why
is the-
Kelly, right?
The whiskey Maker's Mark, I know, is the only exception. It's the American whiskey spelled without the E. And apparently they had to get special permission from someone in Scotland to do that.
Oh Jesus, is that copyrighted or something?
I don't know. It's all bar talk.
I don't know if you saw Jay, but Chrissy said happy birthday. And
Yeah, it's just replying to her. Thank you, Chrissy.
Hi, Chrissy.
Mm.
Yeah. So Paul, as a restaurateur, you probably know a lot about booze.
A fair amount. I'm the best bartender you've probably ever met.
Oh, cool.
Lies.
In all humility.
Do you know those bartending tricks where you're throwing around the bottles and shit?
Okay, so here's the thing on that. It's fun to do. They actually sell bottles that are made of solid wood for you to practice the flair, as they call it.
Yeah.
But from a business manager, owner perspective, I don't want my people juggling booze bottles.
I get that.
Even if they don't break them, they're just pouring booze everywhere. Now, if you want to have a couple juggling pins out to impress people, do magic tricks or what have you, that's fine. But
yeah, and I mean, when I went to Bulgaria a few months ago, there were lots of those places where they actually did that, and it's actually annoying at some point because you don't want you just want your drink, and
they're fucking about.
Yeah, and they're fucking about, and it's like I'm drying up. I've got a dry mouth over here, and you're just throwing around the balls over there. Just put it in.
The other thing on that too is there's a lot of concept places you can go to, especially here in America. There's always a concept where they do the jug and whatever, and I was distinctly unimpressed because although they were great at juggling and doing what have you with the glasses, their drink sucked. They used horrible ingredients.
They suck at drink mixing, but they're great at flipping bottles.
They're using terrible booze, no fresh ingredients. When I set up a bar, the garnish station looks like a salad bar, and everything is muddled. Nice. There's no sour mix. Everything is done from scratch.
So, Paul, if I walk in your bar and I'm like, Paul, make me a Bloody Mary, it's all fresh.
It's going to be the best one you've ever had.
Oh, you're not British, so hold your fucking
Bloody Mary.
Let's see how your application is to becoming British is, and then we'll talk about how good your Bloody Mary is.
My application.
You'll need the royal seal of approval, though.
All right, so I'm trying one of our local new microbrews. I've already been tipped off that this particular one is awful. We've got a shit ton of microbreweries in this area, and it's fantastic.
we got shit ton in Bristol as well. It's a hippie thing, a fucking hipster thing.
Dustin says Benihana is overrated too. What's that? Do you know what that is?
Benihana? That's like a restaurant.
A Japanese restaurant with a juggle steak and knives.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a hibachi grill. That's what they call it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean that's all cool and shit, but once you've seen it twice, that's it, right?
Yeah, the food is usually good though.
Yeah,
what's Benihana restaurant? You said?
Yeah, they're hibachi grills. You go there, the table itself has like a grill, and they cook it in front of you, and they flip the food around. You know. So it's
that's cool, but you're probably paying extra for all that.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. I went to one in Georgia. Yeah, you do end up paying a lot.
Yeah.
Just to have them flip shit around in front of you. It's like, just give me the fucking food, dude.
That's it, right? Yeah.
Impress me with the food.
Do you want the sushi?
You're like watching your food in the air, and your mouth is all drooling and shit. Like, fucking give me the food, man. I'm fucking hungry.
Imagine the guy fucking up and the food landing on the ground.
They fuck up sometimes. I've seen videos.
Yeah, they fill you with booze at those tables too.
Mongolian grill is really good.
Mongolian.
Dustin said Mongolian.
Mongolian, not that much shitty walk.
Mongolian. That's so racist, you guys.
Yeah, I'm like, we're so racist. Your channel's getting down.
The Anglo-Dutch Treaty or being racist as well. Yeah, fuck that. It's going down.
Mate, it's Anglo and Dutch in the channel name. Of course, it's going down.
Yeah,
racist just off the bat.
2 white countries, not enough diversity. Yeah, that's checks all the marks.
White supremacy.
White.
What they chat about? We got a Mexican on here. It's fine.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, wait. Who's the Mexican on here?
Me.
Yeah, right.
We've got an Indian. Yeah.
So I got my grosh.
What kind of Indian are you talking about? There's no Indian here.
Okay, we've just got a hot ass babe.
I'm white, okay? I'm white.
You're the brownest white person I've ever seen in my life.
You're getting an armpit
she got a serious tan.
Yeah. Nice tan.
Yeah, nice tan.
Amongst other things.
Yes, great haircut too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I like the bangs. That's what.
Yeah, I did too. I thought I was starting to look a little boring, man. I was telling Alfie and them earlier, like, I'm so scared my face is gonna warp into like this old Indian lady face, where like my nose just gets bigger, and like, oh my god, I just look like Shrek, like Princess Fiona. And Alfie's like, here, this is what you're gonna look like, and he kept posting the ugliest Indian women.
Really old ones too, like 90-year-old.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is what you're gonna look like in 10 years.
Do you
And then
ever
he
see-
posted an Asian lady. I'm like, she's actually kind of cute. Like,
Yeah,
the old Asian lady.
Not
you
as
ever
bad
see
as that
pictures?
one that was what was it? Mumbai women or
No,
something?
Mumbai aunties.
Mumbai auntie.
Yeah, Mumbai aunties.
Hello, I am looking for a Mumbai auntie.
I looked at that blog site. Unfortunately, it's no longer operational, which is kind of disappointing because I was hoping for a gold mine of Mumbai aunties.
I'm sure if you search it and click images, you'll probably get a bunch of old images that used to be on that site.
I don't want
Oh,
to.
that was awful.
Yeah,
You
there
ever
was some
see-
nasty shit I was posting. It was gross.
Do you ever see pictures like that of older people where they're, they look really fucked up, and you're just like, I'm gonna make sure I do everything in my power to, to make sure that doesn't happen to me, at least. So I see people with, for instance, pro darters. We just talked about this at the start of the stream. Pro darts players where they're like really fat. And I'm gonna make sure I do everything I can to
not be that. Yeah.
I was watching the Olympics this morning, and they were like interviewing people that do curling, and they're all like fat dudes, and I'm like, wow, this is like the only sport where you could be like a fat dude and be in the Olympics.
I'm gonna go Jordan Peterson on your ass and say, well, it depends on what you mean by sport, because in theory, a chess player could be that, could look like that too, of course. And also,
but there's not chess in the Olympics. I just mean like you could be in the Olympics, and a big fat slob.
Yeah, well, I've seen one of those. So there's bobsleigh, and also, there's multiple ways they can get down a track like that, and then there's also where they're just lying on their back, basically, and they're using their body weight to steer. And I don't know the term for that, but I've seen one really fat athlete in that sport too. It's sport is a relative term, Dustin. That's very true. Hailing.
I swear I heard something about video games getting added into the Olympics or something.
Yeah, I've heard something about that, but they really shouldn't do that.
They're not going to do that. No way.
They shouldn't.
Yeah, actually, Aiden, they were the Canadian Olympic team for curling that they were interviewing. So, some of them might have been Newfoundlanders.
Newfoundland?
Newfoundlanders. Well, Aiden gets angry if we don't say Newfoundland.
I'm going to say Newfoundland.
Newfoundland. It's beautiful where he lives.
Because in America, we say Newfoundland.
You've got Nova Scotia and you've got Newfoundland.
Do you know what's really interesting about Newfoundland? Is
they were all fat.
John Cabot left from Bristol and landed there.
Newfoundland.
I guess I can retract the message, can't I? But I just
it doesn't matter.
Don't worry. So how'd your workout go, Amy?
Good. I'm gonna go back again. I didn't get to go long enough because my bus was 40 minutes late. It said it was gonna arrive in 20, and then I was standing out there waiting. Didn't come. Had to come back home, leave, and then I'm gonna go back after this.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Dedication.
Well, I mean, I didn't really feel like I got a full workout.
I got that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
Both of them? Yeah. That's going to be too many people, but Bill's probably going to come later, too.
Yeah, Alf. Too many people.
Yeah.
So listen to Alfie.
No.
So,
No, I don't mind.
We listened to Alfie. Yeah,
it was.
Yeah. I overheard Al say that, so I just repeated that.
Because my living room is tiny.
Oh, you have people there.
No. So, Paul, I've got a question for you.
Yes.
I'm interested to hear, what's the best compliment you've ever received?
That's interesting you asked that on the heels of talking about Bloody Marys, because I worked at a place once. A friend of mine opened a restaurant on the coast of Maine. It wasn't far away from Martha Stewart's summer home, and she came in for Sunday brunch once, and she had one of my Bloody Marys and said it was the best she had had.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Asked if I would come on her show to demonstrate it. And
What?
after that went through the machinery, the owner of the restaurant went on her show.
Oh,
wow.
shit.
Oh,
The problem is he was begging me for the recipe right up until he went on the show, and I never gave it to him.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's
the steward tell me that was the best Bloody Mary that she had had, and that was.
Everybody should answer that question after Paul's done.
Yeah. Why? Yeah, ladies first. Amy, what's the best compliment?
My favorite compliment is always nice hair. You have the best hair. Because that I agree with that one. I do.
Conceited.
Totally. When it comes to my hair, fuck yeah. But I don't take credit. Thank you, Jeans. Oh.
Well, you can definitely take credit partly because it's also due to a healthy lifestyle.
That's true. Yeah, it used to be like really I used to blow dry it and straighten it every day. So when you touched it, it felt like straw, you know, like it would crumple in my hand and like it would break and shit. It was so gross.
Yeah. Tell me about it. I get that all the time.
Yeah, I got to shave mine off. This is getting too bad.
Jay,
but it's in a good spot, Jay.
Yeah, but it's so liberating to do that for the first time. Trust me, I'm a scientist. I can almost say that. Just a few more months, and I can say that because I'll have my degrees.
You will never be a scientist.
You'll be a mad scientist.
Yes. Yeah. He won't be a scientist associated with the War Kettle. Oh man, I'm gonna get fucked on what is it, the 3rd of March when Gays Against Sharia come back to Bristol? I know it. Because anything that goes wrong, it's going to get blamed on me and Annie. It's going to be Annie the Greek and Jay the War Kettle, blah, blah, blah.
You're already just in hot water with all of that anyway, aren't you?
What, with the Gays Against Sharia?
Yeah.
Oh, man,
no, I mean,
yeah.
with the event to screw up your name.
They said he organized it.
Oh, you're on about that issue. Yeah. That's a whole nother issue, that one. But yeah, that's we'll see how that goes this week.
Yeah, let us know.
Oh, I will be.
It's funny because they were talking about how it's like not for LGBT whatever rights. I can't even say that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Like, I'm like, what are you talking about? People choosing to march against Sharia. Of course it is, you know.
Yeah.
So Elf, what's the best compliment you've ever heard?
That's a fucking super tough question.
It's a tough question, I know, because
it usually has to do with my penis. No, I don't know. Probably has to do with like guitar playing or something with my music.
Yeah,
I've had a lot of people. I've jammed out with a lot of bands like for the first time, and then have people be like, "Holy shit, how long have you guys been together?" You know, like, and it's like, no, it's the first time we played together. Like,
yeah, that's cool.
My old boss.
No, what?
Sorry?
Say that.
My old boss used to call me Kim K. I was like, oh, that's kind of nice. I don't totally look like her. I think it's the haircut, personally.
Yeah. I'll take it.
I'll take
it. Yeah, I see what you mean, Elf. By it is a tough question because usually, if it's not, because maybe the reason why Paul remembers it fondly is because it's sort of coupled to him being invited directly or indirectly onto that show, which is, I think, maybe the reason why. But a lot of people get compliments in a sort of a passive way, or it's also maybe partly partly due to the fact that you don't really recall small positive aspects of your life like that. You're more you'll more easily recall negative things being said about you.
Yeah, definitely. But the problem with me is I have a lot of talents that I don't master anything, you know, like I have little things that I'm good at.
Jack of all trades, master.
So I get compliments on a bunch of things, but you know, I don't. So it's hard to like pinpoint one, right?
Oh yeah, I get that. But yeah, you're definitely good musical talent for sure.
Well, thank you. Oh, there you go. That's my favorite compliment. Just got it right now.
In real time.
In real time. There you go. It just happened. It just happened for me.
Birthday boy.
I like the negative comments more. I get off it.
Yeah, Jay really does. Like he gets excited about it.
I love it when people call me a whore. It's my
like when I was in the Bristol Post the first time, I was well happy. I was like, yeah, call me a racist, call me this. I love it. I can't help it. But when it comes to a good comment, I would say the best positive comment I get is at the end of the Jamie show. And Amy's like, mate, I loved it. It was awesome. You're amazing to stream with.
You're just a great guy overall, Jamie. So
oh, stop it.
You are. You're
a compliment
lovely.
coming from Amy is worth 1,000 compliments coming from someone else.
Is it? Yeah, I usually don't compliment unless I mean it, but a lot of people think that I'm bullshitting because like I always, when I like people, I really like them, and their positive traits really stand out to me, right? So those are the things I want to reinforce in them, and I like when people feel good about themselves.
Yeah, Amy's always telling me I'm funny. What's that all about?
Yeah, I wonder why.
God, what a bitch.
I don't even need to tell you. I'm like laughing all the time.
Yeah.
Something is ringing. Oh, I'll be right back. I think my alarm's going off.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't fake that. If that would be a fake, if your Lothar would be fake, then it's quite a good act.
Yeah, definitely.
So
she's good at faking it.
Ooh, she's fake. No, we know someone else is fake, and he's not on this podcast.
No, he's not. I need to pour another drink. So I just realized, like, I've only been drinking for 20 minutes, and I'm already on my third one.
I've also finished mine, so I think I'm gonna get another. I may be getting a microbrew.
Yeah, but the problem is, mate, is you're not drinking 40% and making yourself giant shots.
Well, I was last weekend when I was celebrating my birthday, so I know what you're on about, Brad. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna get myself another one.
All right, I'll entertain these motherfuckers. Yeah. So, Paul, it's just me and you. The Mexican's gone. So, how's that application coming to join and become a British, mate?
Now, what are the steps of this application again?
Mate, all you got to do is go on the website.
How many birds?
I will murder you, Paul, if you become English. You're one of us.
Did you not see the set I created here?
Yeah, look at that. You got 2 flags back there. Look at that. You got a big one and a little one.
It's a cover. It's just a cover.
The big flag represents him, and the little flag represents me because I'm a little guy.
Aiden's like, I got 999 on speed dial. Cheers, Aiden. You can be my sober buddy that makes sure nothing bad happens to me.
Alf knows. 1 if by land, 2 if by sea.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
On top of that, we're both Northeasterners. We're the best U.S. guys.
Right.
No, you're the worst kind because technically, yeah. Because like people like Rogue, who are out in the far west, I can accept
the frontier.
They're from the frontier territory. They don't understand. But you two motherfuckers are from the colonies. Makes it worse.
You know what else we did? We fought off the British. We sent the British packing.
The bloody British.
You got lucky because of the fucking French.
We ain't got no red coats here.
Alfie, ask Paul how far away he is from the nearest redcoat base.
Oh, how far away are you, Paul?
Actually, not too far.
I
mean, if we consider any parts of Canada here, I mean, Quebec is a.
I've got one word for you, Paul. Espionage.
Well, that's the reason the state of Maine exists. Is we're here to keep Canada in check.
Yeah, keep them in.
I got my eye on 3 provinces. The rest is up to everyone out west.
All right, nice.
For Aiden, the satisfying ball opening sound.
Not sure if I likes that sound. I can speak for the coast of Canada going on northeast of here, and it's spectacular. I mean, it's world class. The coastline, the northeast of this continent is just spectacular.
Not here. Jersey's known for their horrible beaches. No, it's actually gotten a lot better. When I was a kid, it used to be covered in syringes and garbage. They've cleaned it up.
Do you know what the funny thing is, Alfie? You saying that, right? Is one of the benefits of being in the EU was it was the EU who sorted out all the beaches around Britain and a lot of European beach countries as well. Because Mate, British beaches.
Yeah, it was bad
terrible.
here too. I remember when I was a kid, they used to have commercials like talking about, be careful when you go to the beach and with syringes and stuff. Like, don't step on syringes.
Really?
Oh, Jamie,
Yeah.
are you going?
Yeah, I'm gonna listen. I just need to go through dishes.
No
and
worries,
shit.
mate.
Heroin addicts. Heroin
I
addicts.
love you guys.
Love you
Bye,
too.
Amy.
Bye.
Bye, Jamie. Bye.
Yeah, but heroin addicts, they were like didn't have a place to sleep, so they just go sleep on the beach and do their heroin, and then leave fucking needles around. So then the morning comes and a bunch of families come in and they step on needles. And shit.
Yeah, that's something we luckily never had to deal with.
Yeah, but they cleaned it all up. They're not like that anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, that was nice. That's some good head you got there, Tice.
Yeah, that's awful dark for Heineken.
Yeah, that's
this is no Heineken. No, I just use the Heineken glass because it's signature Dutch. I don't drink Heineken. This is
I don't drink.
This is a micro brew.
Christoffel.
It's Dutch at the end of the day, so that's all that matters.
Does every word in Dutch end in L or fel?
No, because the beer I just drank was called Schoenkoppen.
Tice is lying to us. His real name is Ticel.
I'm gonna burn my the dictionary real quick because it's got all of the evidence in it.
I thought all your words ended in Flugen Jugend.
That's true. That is very true.
Jugend, Flargen.
That's exactly. Yeah, you just called me an asshole again.
Yeah, I did. That's what you get.
You fucking Yankees coming in this European stream of imperialist states, insulting us.
I love slightly drunk Jay.
Yeah. Drunk Jay is great.
So if you just turn that American flag upside down, then at least part of it's good because it'll have part of a Dutch flag in it.
Plenty of room for more stars up here.
No. I'm just saying, cut where the stars are.
Cut some lines. Reorientate those.
We need to give you guys a little history here. Do you know the representation of the stars in the
stripes?
stripe?
Actually, I do. So the stars are for all your states. All the states.
Right. That is correct. And what are the stripes?
Stripes are. Oh, every time I look at your flag, it's like a fucking trigger to me because it's like every time all I see is
13, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. What would there be 13 of?
Yeah, why would there be 13 stripes on there? That's strange.
Oh, because you two fucking come from the 13 original colonies.
Yeah, we're both in the original 13 colonies. So there you go.
So
since we're on it.
As I was saying, sorry, I just turn that flag upside down, and it'll at least have the red, white, and blue in the correct order.
Yeah, exactly. Now at least it'll be Dutch, which is at least a massive improvement. I mean, it's not ultimate, but at least a massive improvement.
We could cut that 13th and 12th and 11th stripe out and make a
yeah.
Or we can add a couple of Dutch and British stars onto that blue. And
on the other
for when we annexate your country and part of it. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah,
so here's a little trivia,
like Australia and New Zealand, for instance. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah. We'll make the corner flag out of the Dutch and the Union Jack, and then we'll have the stars of the states dotted around the place. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, and then we'll also have the words "gay."
I was talking about Psycho yesterday, and the guy from Psycho died. The guy who plays the boyfriend. Paul, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I can see his face. Yeah,
he just died. John Gavin.
Shit.
Oh, that reminds me, Alf. I forgot to bring this question up during your stream. Yeah. Sorry to cross streams here.
Don't cross streams.
It's a bit late.
Don't cross the stream.
We had the invasion of the JB show, so
that's true. Then it's Elf Talks, and now there's some random guy who.
This is just a little quick sidebar of American pop culture. Alf, did you ever watch the TV show Kolchak, the Night Stalker?
Oh, of course, yeah, Kolchak.
Oh, that was so great. I think they made like 14 episodes, but
he was a journalist, right? Or was he a detective? No,
he was a journalist that was always reporting on the supernatural.
Yeah, there was like a werewolf episode and a vampire episode. I remember that. That was a cool series. I think it was a book series first. I'm not sure. Kolchak.
So For those of you across the pond, I think I've educated you on New England. It's comprised of 6 states. Maine, how the state of Maine got its name.
Oh.
Yeah.
Most people from my state don't know the answer to this question. And the hint or giveaway is it used to be referred to as the Maine.
The Maine colony?
The mainland.
Oh,
is that why it was called Maine? Because it was the mainland?
Yeah, on a sail over from merry old England, the first point of contact was the coast of Maine, so they referred to it as the Maine. Because they would always sail around, obviously, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland. It's too damn cold. You know.
Yeah, they worked their way south real quick.
Yeah.
Hey, we don't. We come from England. Do you think we want to live somewhere fucking cold?
Yeah.
Why do you think there's so many French in Canada?
It's like we found this new country and it's just as cold as ours. Fuck. Let's see if we can find a warmer place. Let's keep moving south.
And we did. And then
the Spaniards were telling us it was hot. What happened? The Spaniards landed in South America. It's like they were telling us it was hot. It's cold. What's going on?
Yeah. And then a bunch of our descendants decided to rebel. And be all like, oh, representation and tea tax and blah de blah blah.
I think before the Spaniards, French or British have claim to Canada, I think the Vikings have a very strong claim to Canada.
Oh yeah, actually, I've recently been looking at that myself. Actually, the Vikings came down from Greenland and Iceland because that's how they migrated across.
Greenland and Iceland, and then they went.
I think they found some stuff in New Finland. Yeah, I think they found some artifacts and whatnot. Yeah.
What, in New Finland or Old Finland?
In New Finland.
Yeah, you say
New Finland or Old England.
Do you know what the funny thing is? There's a street here in Bristol called New Finland Lane.
But is it FIN or found?
It's spelt as found, but it's pronounced as Finland.
No, because Finland is actually FIN. So.
Yeah. I'm just gonna call Newfoundland New Finland, like Nova Scotia, but just translated to English.
That was when I was a kid, I didn't see how it was spelled first, so I thought it was New Finland because it was like the New Finland, like. I didn't realize it was called found the land. Yeah.
See, the thing is we're talking about all this New Finland, Newfoundland stuff, and yet Aidan is the man that knows it all. And he has the link.
In here, Aidan.
He could get in here.
It's funny because Aidan, he and I are practically neighbors. We've only got Nova Scotia between us, but
yeah, it's not like it's just the size of an entire European country or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say it's fun because he's teaching me a whole lot about my state history that I didn't know that he's actually quite familiar with.
Aiden should seriously go into trying to be a historian because he knows so much about like history and shit of like all different places. He really should look into being a historian. Yeah, he
knows so much about medieval kings and queens of Britain before England was established. So when we had the kingdoms like Wessex and
I found another British. You guys say medieval?
No, I'm just a little.
Okay.
I'm with you, buddy.
I was like,
you know what's funny? I only have one shot of tequila left because I did that birthday video for Devin where I toasted a shot to his birthday.
Yeah,
but it took me like 4 or 5 takes. His fucking tequila was nearly legless after turning the camera on. It was pretty bad.
By the time you said
in the afternoon,
you're like, happy birthday, Devin. Here's so many more.
It was the last take I sent him. I think I was just like, fuck it.
Fuck it. Send that live.
We'll do it live.
Yeah, we'll do it live. Fuck it.
Do it live.
So when you start your restaurant, Paul, definitely get yourself a few. They're called Bock beers. They're German lagers.
Oh yeah.
I've had Bock beers. Those are good.
They're
really good. Doppelbock.
What do you think?
Yes, Tice. Let's make sure his bar is stocked with European alcohol. I like this idea.
Tice, what do you think of Beck's?
Who the fuck drinks Beck's?
I was asking Tice what he thinks of Beck's.
Well, I don't even know what that is.
Oh no, is it German? I think Beck beer.
Well,
Well,
no, it's part of one of the big corporate conglomerates of. Yeah, I think it might have been.
I can get it. I can buy that here, but mine. Yeah, apparently, yeah. So we can buy that here. I see it's on sale, like, or I see it's for sale in random supermarkets, but it's not like one of the well-known brands. So
really? It's huge out here. There's a lot of Becks out here. Yeah, Becks and Heineken.
Hey Jay, have you heard of Old Ringwood Brewery?
Ringwood? No.
No, I can't say I have actually.
Yeah, they're from here.
Oh shit! We've now got a historian in the room. Now we can't feel like knowing jack shit. Now we're gonna get some facts.
Yeah, he's got an hour and a half to clarify and correct.
yeah.
I always get very proud of myself when I teach Aiden something.
That's never gonna happen.
It happens once or twice at least.
Aiden knows all though.
No, I don't.
He knows so much. No, he doesn't. But he knows a lot, man. He knows a lot.
Yeah,
it's funny. I'm just out of beer now. But what are you guys talking about? I toned out because I was trying to figure out my webcam.
America.
We're just talking about America. We're talking about me.
We're talking about a real country that has an imperial state crown and whatnot.
All right, I'm going to chime in on this. I'm okay with your monarchy, but the problem is if that bloodline you get a whack job born every now and again, and there is a history.
The history of it, but we're not the Habsburgs, mate. We don't have no Austrian shit going on like they did in those days.
But now
we've been lucky with
See, we
old ladies in there.
Now we adopted a good policy, and that was
ally with America.
We had a good policy of mate with the fucking commoners, do not mate with the Habsburgs.
Yeah, but now you got Greek mixed in there. That's always a problem, man.
Whoa, come on.
Paul, if the bloodline concerns you.
As someone who has, a Greek partner.
Yeah, I know, I'm just joking.
It is quite entertaining, let's say.
Yeah.
They're spicy, Paul.
If Annie watches this, I was joking, Annie. Don't be upset with me.
If the bloodline concerns you, then I've got another offer for you, and it's the Dutch royal family, and we've got a nice quill from.
I'm familiar here, and I'm interested.
Okay.
I'm an American.
Right.
So
I'm gonna be honest. I'll be honest. Now, this is me.
Argentina, nice.
Argentina.
Ours is old and whatnot, but Tice, if you want the attractiveness, if you want the beauty, if you want the sexuality, Tice has the monarchy you want, because my god, his queen is gorgeous.
Yeah, the Dutch
Have
queen.
you ever seen the Queen of Bhutan? Have you
Bhutan,
heard of Bhutan?
No, I've never even heard of
the Queen of Bhutan. Look her up. She's a babe.
Is that like when you're running a race and you pass the Bhutan to the next guy?
No, hold on.
I thought he said futon.
Bhutan. It's a country next to Tibet.
Oh yeah, I see it. Bhutan Queen. Let's look it up here.
Let's look this girl up.
And all of a sudden, Elf just leaves, starting fast.
Yeah. Well, why do you think I have my camera off?
Oh yeah. All of a sudden, in the background, you can hear.
Holy shit! Yeah, Aiden.
Yeah, Alfie sees the American flag. He just starts, fucking.
Oh, is that her? Wow, yeah, she's pretty, dude.
I can pick my queens.
They got a quitty. A quitty. I was gonna say they got a quitty queen.
A quitty queen. A quitty.
They got a quitty queen.
Quitty queen. 27-year-old.
See, even Paul's just seen her and he's like, "Fucking hell, I
gotta get off the camera and
get
the fap going. Fap.
Fap and stream.
Fap and
streaming fap.
In the background, you can hear a faint. All of a sudden.
Oh, there's nothing feigned about it.
Oh shit! I didn't realize Kelly was there.
God bless America.
Ah.
Well, why are you fapping to the Bhutan queen then?
No,
the futon queen.
The futon.
The queen of all futons.
That sounds American.
Tice, have you noticed we have the Yankees now fapping to Queens? So I think
it's starting to happen. Yes,
it is.
I used to fap to Queen all the time. Freddie Mercury's hot.
And this is why we would write gay on your flag.
Exactly.
I'm quite fond of Queens, New York.
Yeah, Queens is cool.
And that was named
My aunt
because
lives
of the
there.
British.
Yes.
Now, if you want to get down to the names of New York, what do you call them? You don't call them provinces.
Boroughs.
Yeah,
Boroughs.
boroughs.
Well, like Harlem.
Harlem.
Harlem is
Dutch.
in a borough. No,
That's
Harlem
Dutch.
is not a borough though.
Harlem is
Harlem.
Dutch.
Harlem. If you
Harlem's
Google Harlem,
Dutch.
that with 2 A's, that's a city, and then also Harlem. So that's the same as you spell it, just 2 A's. Harlem.
Yeah.
And then
The
also
Queens is for King George II or third.
But
for
I have
his
to
wife.
correct you guys because Harlem is not a borough. Harlem is part of Manhattan.
Oh.
Yeah.
well, technically speaking,
Yeah. It's 5
Wow.
Boroughs. It's 5 boroughs.
Technically speaking, that New York was named New York after the Duke of York, and I can never remember why he ended up with it. It named after him, but it was also named New Amsterdam before that.
Yes. So
especially
you're
here in New
welcome
England,
for
everything
founding
is
that
European.
city.
Right, Aiden's coming in and he's going to tell us about the boroughs and he's going to tell us
No,
what New
it's
York
fine.
is
I
named
got
New
nothing.
York.
Also,
I mean,
Brooklyn.
New Zealand.
Yeah, it's 5 boroughs. It's Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens,
Yes.
Manhattan, and Long Island.
And Brooklyn
Yeah,
is
5
named
boroughs.
after part of Amsterdam, actually.
Is it?
Oh,
What is
Brooklyn.
because it was New Amsterdam. Bitches.
Yeah, it used to be New Amsterdam, but York is better, so we named it New York.
Actually, do you know? So speaking of New Amsterdam, there was a TV show called New Amsterdam, and it was about this Dutchman that moved to New Amsterdam back in when the Dutch originally landed there, and a native woman did some voodoo or something, and he could live forever. So Rowan, eternal life.
Maybe Rowan is Dutch by heritage. And
Did you give him a bunch of silver?
I think he did give us some silver, actually.
I
but
found this, and you'll live forever.
unfortunately, they only did a season of it, which was kind of disappointing because it was actually quite a good show, and it was set in the modern day. But he'd lived for over 400 years, and he was just some cop in New York who knew everything about New York.
Have you guys been watching Vikings?
Imagine that
of course.
if you
Oh,
grow up.
Aiden, I know you know a lot about Vikings, and that's something I wanted to ask you. So there's a scene in there about the Vikings going and encountering Muslims. Yeah. How accurate is that, to be honest? Because they're talking about them going down to Spain and whatnot. And
Yeah, I
so
mean,
The Moors?
they would have definitely interacted with the Moors because that would have been a major trading area, going into the Mediterranean. And you find evidence of the Vikings way down into Istanbul, even.
Really?
Have you ever heard of Hagia Sophia? It's this massive temple. It's a mosque
I
now.
know about the Sophia.
Yeah.
It was originally conceived of as
speaking of the Sophia, do you know how I talked Annie out of her Christian values? I turned around to her one day and I was like, so, you know how you think that Islam can be defeated with Christian values and whatnot?
Constantinople.
I said, so what happened when Islam rolled into Constantinople and decided to turn the Grand Sophia into a mosque? What happens when Islam encounters atheists? Do they just turn atheist property into a Muslim place of worship? No, they fucking don't. They would destroy it because we are the worst. Atheists are the worst.
Apostates, yeah.
Yeah. So we need to fight Islam with humanist secular values. And she was like, oh, shit, I've got no response.
It's pretty good. Well, the reason why I brought it up, though, is there's actually Norse runes graffitied into. Oh yeah, they're all over the place because the Greeks who would have inhabited that area, who kind of ruled that area, used not Vikings, but Norse people as their bodyguards because they were usually way taller and bigger and stronger than anybody else they had access to. So yeah, there's that. In fact, I was almost a little annoyed at Vikings. They didn't go the full 9 yards and show us Istanbul. Because I thought that it would have been Constantinople at the time, obviously, because this is the 10th century, 9th century. But they kind of stopped, and actually they alluded to. I think they're going to go this in the next season. Sicily, southern Sicily, was colonized by Norse people, basically not colonized, but it was taken over by Norse people. And I think they alluded to that in the show, so that's probably going to happen eventually. But it's a good show. It's not okay as far as historically accuracy. It's like
it's all over the place on timelines and stuff.
Yeah,
like that,
none of these guys are supposed to talk to each other, right?
Yeah, like none of them are even meant to be alive at the same time.
No, but it's cool in that you get to be like, okay, well, you know this character, you know Alfred. That's Alfred the Great. You know, you can really can point to characters in the show and immediately tell you like the historical background pretty easily. It's good for that.
I think the historical background and the accuracy of it is more in the actual characters and what they're playing, not so much how they all interact. And
it catches the mood right. It catches a lot of like the societal values they get right. The costumes suck. The costumes don't look they look terrible. But yeah, other than that, it's fun. I really like the show because you get to like meet all these really significant historical figures. Like Rollo is who's a really important guy.
Yeah, like the guy, what's his name? I can never remember his name, but the guy that ended up marrying the Paris in Paris to the
it's Rollo.
French
That's Rollo.
Yeah. I had no idea that he's the
first Norman. He created Normandy as like a political power and then invaded England.
And obviously is the descendant of the royal house of Windsor.
Yeah.
I have to.
Yeah, it's a fun show.
I have to correct myself. I said one of the boroughs in New York City was Long Island, but it's Staten Island. I always confuse those two.
Which is not an island, right? Staten Island's not an island. Am I getting that right, or am I thinking of Long Island?
I think they're both islands. Yeah.
Isn't there something called island in New York that is not an island?
Rhode Island,
or am I thinking of Rhode Island? Yeah,
Rhode Island.
Why did I know that?
That's not even New York.
Speaking of islands and New York, there's an island right opposite the UN building in the Hudson River, and it's right opposite the UN building in the middle of the river, and it's now classed as a animal reserve.
A sanctuary?
Yeah, animal sanctuary. That's the one. Yeah.
Is it Plum Island?
Birds. No. This island is fucking tiny. It's literally about 5 rocks poking out of the river, and it's designated as an island. And it's if I remember correctly, it's directly opposite the UN building. It's got a really interesting history, but for the life of me, I cannot remember it right now.
There's a lot of weird little islands up to like around. There's I know there's an island that used to be like an insane asylum that's now completely abandoned.
Didn't they do like chemical experiments as well?
Some crazy shit happened. Yeah, I remember reading about that somewhere. Yeah. I know there's a. Go on.
No, go. I don't know if it's across the UN building, because across the UN building is Brooklyn.
No, it's in the middle. It's in the river.
I see what you're talking about. It's like a little sliver, right? Roosevelt Island.
It might be that.
Roosevelt Island, yeah. Right across from the UN is South Point Park in Roosevelt Island. And it's right in between. It's right on the river between Manhattan and Brooklyn, yeah.
Do you know what's interesting? Speaking of crazy experiments that were done by the governments and whatnot, in the 60s and 70s, you know the London Tube system, right? The British government and the Air Force, I think it was, I'd have to look it all up, but they did chemical experiments on the population of London during that period, where they would pump, they pump weird gases. I can't remember, I'd have to look it all up, but they pumped gases and various other things into the London Underground to see what the reaction to the populace would be.
I got one for you too about government experiments. That's where I was just mentioned Plum Island. That's how Lyme disease started, on Plum Island. Government experiments.
I've heard something about that. Yeah,
it's named after Lyme, Connecticut. Is that the one right across from Plum Island? I have to look that up. But yeah, it's named after a town called Lyme because it escaped somehow from Plum Island and ended up on the state across from it. And that's how we got Lyme disease.
Well done.
Yeah,
and somehow it ended up in England. I don't know how, but
well, since you brought up limes, I'm gonna mention it, and to make you Yankees happy. So you like to call us limeys, but let's be honest, the smart motherfuckers. We worked out that limes and citrus stopped scurvy. So
Okay. Yeah, it was
after a few thousand years of just having rickets and shit. You know? Just figured that shit out eventually. Yeah.
Well, we figured it out first, so Britannia. That's what I say.
Guarantee you some Chinese guy.
I guess that's not confirmed, but it says the most recent theory is that Lyme disease escaped from Plum Island, which may be the most plausible conspiracy theory yet. Ooh. So I guess it seems like it's probably true. But
as long as we're talking about conspiracy theories, do any of you guys have a conspiracy theory that you totally are into?
Yes, I do.
Everyone's good. You gotta have one. What?
Piggate.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Fuck
yeah.
I don't know that one. What's that?
So what was it? 3 years ago, there was a book written by some lord or sir. I can never remember who it was. But basically, in this book, he said that David Cameron, when he was at Eton, now to all
is that like the Black Mirror episode?
Oh, yeah, wait.
Okay.
Alfie.
Yeah, it all just clicked in my head from that episode. I was like, click, okay.
No, because Alfie, you don't realize how this all plays out.
So timeline's hilarious. Sorry.
Yeah, the timeline is incredible. So first of all, for you Yankees, I need to explain something. You all hear of Oxford and Cambridge, yeah? Mm-hmm. They're like the middle line. So you have normal universities, then you have Oxford and Cambridge and the other ones you hear of. But up the top, and I mean the top, that's where the royalty send their kids. I mean aristocrats, lords and ladies send their kids to Eton. And unless you're extremely rich, I mean you've got to be so rich that you don't have to go to Oxford or Cambridge, because that's where the rich people send their kids. So that's how rich you've got to be to send your kids to Eton. David Cameron, our previous prime minister, went to Eton. So anyway, Black Mirrors releases the episode of what you're talking about, Alfie, where the prime minister, this imaginary guy, shags a pig for...
Who's happens to be based on the same prime minister, but...
Yeah, he was, but they didn't allude to names and various other things. But he had to shag the pig because, if I remember correctly, Terrace had
ISIS captured the princess of England.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It airs on TV because this was in the days when Black Mirror was on Channel 4, because Black Mirror started on Channel 4 before it went to Netflix. It aired, and then about a year later, this book arrives out for the public to read by this lord, or I can never remember. But anyway, basically, he funded the Tory party, the Conservative Party, when David Cameron was originally elected in 2010, if I remember correctly. And apparently, David Cameron promised him a position in government, basically in the cabinet, and David Cameron didn't fulfill so-called promise for him funding the Tory party. So he decided to tell all in his book. And in his book, he said while David Cameron was at Eton, he fucked a pig.
A dead pig.
A dead pig.
Well, I mean, he put his dick in a pig carcass, basically. Yeah. But as part of an initiation.
And that is my story that I'm a true
That's the man I'd want as my prime minister.
If you look into the kind of hazing shit they do with those places.
Prime Minister. He said Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because no president has ever fucked a pig, so.
That you know. I mean,
if any president does it, you've got the president for it, Elf.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah. Well, I would say anybody that fucks him is fucking a pig. So.
That's very true, though.
Yeah. Oh. That's probably true, though.
Leave him alone. But no, I actually totally buy Piggate.
Yeah, exactly.
If you look into
he went to Eton. It's like saying right for you Yankees to explain. It's like saying one of your finding out that your president was in the Skull and Crossbones Society at University. Yeah. What university was it? I can never remember.
Yale.
Harvard.
Yale.
Oh, Harvard. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, was it Yale, Paul, or was it Harvard?
I thought it was Princeton, but I might be wrong.
One of those.
I'll tell you guys in a second. I'm looking it up.
Yeah. because that university is what Eton is like.
Yeah, it's Yale.
It happened. It
was Yale.
fucking happened.
But yeah, they into crazy hazing initiation stuff over there. Like it wouldn't surprise me there. And like Boris Johnson went there, and like all kinds of different.
Yeah,
I wonder how many, right?
Right.
I wonder how many of your people in your government right now have fucked a pig at some point.
Right. Okay.
The Skull and Bones thing isn't a conspiracy anymore. That's pretty much been shown to be true.
Oh yeah. Skull and Bones.
So
when it comes to in Britain and the aristocracy, so we have three groups of society here. We have us, the commoners, the everyday people who might get successful or whatever. It doesn't matter. We're commoners. Then you have those that went to Eton, the elites that run the country. And then you have the royal family and those that inherit earldoms or or lordoms rather, which is very, very small group. The middle group, the aristocracy of Britain, is made up of people from the commoners who basically go to Eton, and which is even more funny is there is a photo of David Cameron at school with Boris Johnson and a bunch of
this photo.
Yeah,
they just look like assholes.
The last two governments, so the current government with Theresa May and the government before with David Cameron, is literally made up of people from this photo. So you look at this photo from the 80s, 70s with David Cameron, Boris Johnson, and various others. And then you look at the two last governments and their cabinet and who's been in the cabinet. It's like, oh shit, who wasn't in that fucking photo? Who isn't in the cabinet, basically?
Mm-hmm. They didn't fuck the pig. That's why they're not in government.
Oh,
see, that's
is that like is that like you were saying, Aiden? Is that like a hazing thing they do? You gotta fuck.
That's the kind of like
I would say for Ethan, yeah.
Well, there are societies within these colleges that he was trying to get it. I think it's called like I want to say the Piers Morgan Society because I know the first name is Piers. I can't remember. Hold on a second.
Yeah, Jay tries to tout that his fucking country's better than ours, and they're fucking pigs over there. They're led by
they're led by said. There's three types of us. Three types.
There's three types. One is the pig fucker type.
I won't say this often, but I'm gonna have to use an argument, a very strong argument Sean put forth.
My God,
and it goes a little bit like this.
My God, he said
Donald J.
I don't disagree with that. Good point.
The divine succession of kings over Donald Trump. Thank you.
Yeah, you might be right. But the good thing about us is that it's only 4 years.
Yeah, that's true.
For us,
hopefully
it's
not another
5
4
years
years
under Tory rule, and then it's back to the polling stations. What about you, Aiden? How long do you have Trudeau for?
It's not. Term limits are weird in Canada. Like the last government was in power for like 10 years or 12 years or something.
We don't have term limits, but we have elections every 5 years.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, the next election is next year. Next federal elections in 2019. I just had to look at the calendar to see what year it was. No.
What about Dutchland over there? Do you guys have term limits?
Yes. No term limits, but at some point MPs just resign. Well, they don't resign. They just step down.
They collapse.
In the Netherlands, don't you have representative voting? Isn't your voting system better? You don't have first past the post, do you?
No. Our voting system is just I'd call it regular. So there's the parties that go up for votes and just the amount of votes. So they count the amount of votes in total, and then they divide that by 150 because there's 150 seats in what do you call it? The Senate,
Parliament.
Parliament. That's it. Not the Senate, Parliament.
Yeah, Parliament.
So,
get it right, Tice.
we also have a Senate though. It's we have a Parliament and a Senate. But
same with us.
Yeah, so they do. So they that's so you divide the total amount of votes by 150 to get the amount of votes needed to get one seat in Parliament, and then they just check how many votes each party got, and then the rest of the votes are rounded. I don't know exactly how it goes, but they're rounded up or down to because of course you're not going to get to exactly specific divisions of the parliament, of the 150 seats in parliament. So, but there's no weird representation. There's no shady shit like the U.S. does, where it's like one state gets more leverage than another state, or it's just votes are counted. And
so, when you go to the polls, are you voting for the prime minister, or for, like in Britain? For when I go to the polls, I vote for my local representation. So, for example, Karen Smith, she's the candidate that I would vote for, and she's the current MP. So are you voting for the representation of your local area, or are you voting for the prime minister?
So there's multiple. So you can vote for. I can vote here for who I want to see as mayor.
Oh yeah. Obviously, there's the division of local authority, but I'm talking about for parliament and for the federal. For those Yankees out there, so they understand, for federal government, basically.
Yeah. So for parliament, what you can do is every party has a list of candidates, and you can specifically vote for one candidate. For instance, a bunch of feminists voted for female candidates in the party they wanted.
What a surprise!
Surprise, surprise. So when you ask them, why are you voting for, do you like her points? Does she do well in interviews? Nah, she has tits and no penis. And that's
sounds about right.
So you can, they call that a preference vote. So you can vote for any other member of that party. And if you're not like that, then you usually just vote for the number one listed candidate of that party.
So hang on, So, for example, when we go to the vote, to the polls, we have the candidate for the Labour, all the different parties, but we only have one candidate for each party. Are you saying that you have your party candidates, and then you have multiple candidates of the party you can vote for?
So there's you could call it you could call it a front man for each party.
Yeah.
And then there's numbers depending on how large the party is, of course. So the ruling party right now, which is the VVD, you could call it the Democrats, or the Liberal Democrats. They have like 30 to 40 candidates you can vote for, so that if there's that many votes for them, they can have 40 seats in parliament. They didn't get that many votes, luckily, because I disagree with some shit on that. I disagree with them on some issues, but so depending on how large the party is, their list of candidates is bigger or smaller than other parties, and if it turns out the amount of seats they get does exceed their candidate, the amount of candidates they have, they're gonna have to find a bunch of candidates real quick, but that doesn't really happen that often.
So I was looking up Canada, and it says Prime Minister, no directly set terms, but the Prime Minister must maintain support of the House of Commons, which has the maximum term of 4 years.
Yeah.
So
you can so Parliament can do something called a vote of no confidence. So which is where the majority of Parliament says fuck it. Yeah. Except it doesn't really work out very well.
Well, hang on. I would like to interject a moment, because there is this important officer called the Governor General.
The most superfluous government position in Canadian politics.
With premiers in Canada too. No set term limits, but premiers must retain support of respective provincial and territorial legislature assemblies, which have a maximum term of 5 years.
Same thing, yeah. And that's basically a governor. It's a premier. I don't know how they say the rest of Canada, but premier is what we call it.
Yeah,
it's the most communist sounding thing in government that we have, the premier, right?
Yeah, but the first of his name,
the first citizen, right? Yeah. But no, it's basically broken up the same way. But we do have a Senate as well. So Tice, the Dutch Parliament has a Senate component, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So so we have Parliament and Senate, and actually, what's interesting right now, there's a law which already passed Parliament concerning donating organs and shit after your
like kebabs. Sorry,
donor.
Yeah, sorry.
Do you have to enunciate more clearly, I guess? So donating organs, and where because it used to be, or it still is at this point, where you don't donate your organs after you pass away unless you say you do. Whereas they want to change that around, so your you donate your organs unless you say you don't want.
We've done that in Wales, where everyone's an organ donor except unless you opt out. Which, to be honest, I think we should roll that out across the whole of the UK.
Yeah, that's what they're going for right here. But there's a bunch of conspiracy theorists where
they want our kidneys. Yeah,
exactly. And I'm just like, fuck you. Yeah, just.
Ours is weird because the only thing that has term limits is the president, like everything else doesn't. But it's two. The term limit is two terms, but sometimes it's like if a president takes over, because it's a 10-year limit, even though it's 4 terms, because the president takes over for another president.
Oh yeah.
For less than 2 years, then that doesn't count as a whole term, So then they can run 2 more times after that. But if it's even a day over 2 years, then
sorry, Alfie. So, for example, if Donald Trump died and
if Donald Trump died now and Pence took over, it would count as a term because he would serve 3 years.
But he could run for two times.
Not only if he serves less than 2 years. Basically,
so if Trump died,
so it happened today.
If it happened today, it would count as a term because it hasn't been even a year yet. But if it happened like 2 years and a day in, and Pence took over, then he would not be able to run for 2 more terms. So you don't need to do one.
Yeah, just
we're not
10 years is the limit.
Assassinate the president.
Here, something like that happens. So if the MP is assassinated or something, the second candidate just takes over. And there's also something called a vote of no confidence, as you mentioned before. And in that case, if that happens, we just get to vote again.
Yeah, that just happens.
That's the thing, though. It's a good. So vote of no confidence just means they get to vote again. Yeah, but every time it just seems to consolidate power into every time it just seems to go that way. It's really funny.
Take for example the Brexit vote. I mean, David Cameron stepped down after he lost because he was promoting the Remain vote. Theresa May then decided, because she didn't have to call another election. She decided that all on her own. And then the next thing you know, she loses 20 seats.
Exactly.
And
it rarely goes the way they seem to want it to. In Canada, Stephen Harper was the previous prime minister. He was the leader of the Conservative Party. And he got a vote of no confidence from the New Democrats, which was the Social Democratic Party. And the results of the snap election basically ended up with the Harper government just consolidating power and being able to pass laws more easily than before and everything. It's just it was the biggest own goal in modern Canadian politics.
I'm assuming with Canada, do you have a term limit on your prime minister? Because we don't. Our prime minister, exactly. Because if our prime minister is doing a good job, because it's done on how much the party is represented. So, for example.
How long is a term in Canada?
Well, no, it doesn't really work that way. See, I don't know. Actually, hold on. Maybe the party.
No, I just thought it's 4 years.
Okay, makes sense because the prime minister himself is just the leader of the party that is controlling parliament at the time, right?
Exactly. It's 4 years, but he can keep being. There's no term limit because as long as he's got the support of his House of Commons, But I was looking at Peru, right, and I'm not sure what does this mean. Unlimited non-consecutive 5-year terms. So that means he can keep running as long as there's a president in between.
For every 5 years.
And non-consecutive as well. That means that they don't have to be after it's sequential.
Or does that mean that it can't be sequential? Does that mean that there has to be one in between each president? If he runs again, he's got to wait for someone else to finish and then go again.
That would be so weird. Though,
yeah, that is weird. I'm trying to
jump. Then why would you?
Maybe I'll look deeper into that and figure that out.
Get real deep in there.
So, Paul, I've got a question for you on your state level. So, do you live in? Because obviously, I know that the state level breaks down to city and then outer city and various others. So where is it you live and what is it you vote for and things like that? Just not I don't want to know about the party and stuff, but I just want to know about the framework. Like, do you have a mayor? Do you have a council?
There's a municipal level vote.
You cut out a little bit, Paul. Yeah, say that again.
Yeah, I was. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
You just cut out like right in the middle of the sentence. Cut out like 2 words.
There you go.
Probably dealing with sensitive material.
Yeah.
You vote your municipality, obviously for town manager, mayor, etc. And also your municipality. You vote for county level positions. Also, your municipality would be within a district, and you vote as a district for all your state level, your legislature, your state house, your state senate, and your governor.
Yeah,
got you.
And then our state has 2 districts. So the way it works here in the States, every state has 2 senators. And this is how they were looking to balance state powers. Every state has 2 senators, and then you have 1 representative. I think it's for every 500,000 people population. So, for instance, here in Maine, we have a population a little over 1 million. We're very sparsely populated. We have 2 seats in the House of Representatives. State like California has dozens of seats in the House of Representatives.
Yeah, the more populous your state, the more representatives you have.
Now, the Electoral College, basically your state, they calculate how many electoral votes you get by adding your number of senators, which for every state is 2, plus the amount of representatives that you have in the House of Representatives. And the sum of those 2 figures basically is how many electoral votes your state will have. Our state did something it's never done before. Prior to this most recent election, the entire state, 2 districts, would basically support one candidate or the other in the Electoral College. For the first time in Maine, the law was passed such that one district could cast their electoral ballot for one candidate and the other district could cast it for another. And that indeed is what happened. The Southern District in Maine voted for Clinton, and the Northern District in Maine voted for Trump.
Okay.
All right, so I found it says it's basically what we were saying. The presidential term is 5 years with no immediate re-election. A former president can run after being out of office for a full term. That's weird, right? So they can't run again immediately afterwards.
So hey, you did a good job, but you gotta
wait for the fucking communist guy or something.
Yeah, basically, it's always alternating.
That's so weird. Yeah. So yeah, as I was saying, technically there's no term limit for our MPs either, but usually they resign after 3 or 4 terms in a row, and just as either they're bored or they can move up, so work for the EU or whatever.
Become an MEP.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a Dexit or a Nexit.
What we need to do is we need to start an imperialist state crown union, where all the countries with an imperial state crown come together and have trade, free movement, and various other things.
Yes, except for Spain, because they're poor and
they're a bit dodgy. I mean, let's be honest. Right? Okay, you brought up Spain, so let's start talking about their heritage and their DNA and various other things.
Before you guys continue going, I'm gonna get out of here. DNA. You guys are talking about Spain, and I'm getting triggered because I haven't gotten my reparations. I'm getting triggered. So. No, not really. I'm gonna get going, guys. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for having me on.
Have a good night,
Jay and Tice.
Love you all.
Love you too, guys.
Right, take care, man.
Guys, later. Bye.
I must admit, I have just looked at the time, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's late.
It's time flies when you're having fun. But hey, what were you saying, Jay? About
what about the Spanish?
I think Jay was trying to speak on another topic.
I would like to know what the Spanish IQ is compared to like the rest of Europe.
I think if we compare, you can compare the Scandinavian countries, which are doing quite well on the IQ scale. But
anyway,
you mentioned the word heritage. I do think somewhere in there.
I can't remember culture.
I think you're probably...
Well, if you want to talk about heritage and their royal family, hatchbugs, what are we doing there? Like, inbred to fuck, mate.
So let's talk about Jay's heritage first. What's your heritage, Jay?
Scottish and English. My mother's side is Scottish with a lot of the Scottish side. To sum it all up with Scots is everyone's related to everyone. You've got the Hatchfield, you know, it's just everyone's related to everyone. The McCoy, it's just The Scots are mental. My dad's side is Anglo-Saxon. So Danish.
Nice. I am 100% pure blood Dutch, as far as I know. And then Paul, our guest of honor.
Yeah.
I do recall you mentioned you had quite an interesting heritage.
Yeah, pretty much 100% American.
Yeah, we'll go.
Not really a thing though.
Yeah, we'll go with 100% American for tonight, shall we?
Okay. Yeah. Well, okay. In the spiritual disclosure, it was a big mystery where my family came from for the longest time because apparently there was a lot of name changing with the last name. But we actually found out just recently that my heritage goes back in this country right back to the Revolutionary War.
Ooh,
apparently,
here we go.
I knew there was always we were basically English,
Loyalist,
little Scottish, little Irish. That was our lineage. But we discovered, thanks to my brother doing a little bit of research recently, that we've got a little German in our blood.
That's where the efficiency comes from.
That would explain all of the Fredericks in my
German
lineage.
German is the largest ethnic group located in the United States, which is an interesting thing.
It's interesting, isn't it, Aidan?
I mean, well, especially when you look around Pennsylvania, with all the Dutch and the Germanic people living there.
Yeah.
God, I fucking sound like a fucking race IQ nerd.
So I say Uber alles. You know?
No, it's actually Über alles.
Uber alles.
Getting all Dutch about it.
Über alles. Deutschland über alles is what they say.
All right, so I think Rogue is gone, so I don't have to worry about breaking her heart at this point.
Yeah.
Yes, I found out that the great, however many greats, grandfather, the paternal lineage.
Whoa, are you sharing information publicly, first of all? Because,
well, you know, why not?
Mate, this is quite British you're about to share, mate.
So, yes, apparently the however many greats grandfather on my father's side fought in the Revolutionary War. He was a Hessian soldier, a mercenary, cool. German mercenary.
And what does that mean for all you history buffs out there?
He fought for the British.
You did indeed.
Well, the Hessian is Hessian or Hessian? Hessian, I guess. That's famous. They're famous.
What I've always said.
The Hessian regiments are famous from that period. They're like huge German dudes who like went over the United States and fucked their people up.
So yeah, I guess apparently after the Revolutionary War began, the apparently migrated from whatever battlefront he left to New Brunswick. And then the name changing started. The name.
You're cutting out a little bit there, Paul.
Yeah.
Yep. My bad.
You're try again.
Yeah, the name changed. We know it went through a French version of the last name. It went back to a very British version of the last name, where eventually stayed with the British version, and that was apparently migrating through the state of Maine looking for work. You know,
it would have been fashionable.
There was a lot of discrimination going on those days.
Yeah, anti-German discrimination led to a lot of that kind of name changing. People just hated Germans for a long time, just for a lot of just random reasons.
That's what makes it particularly difficult for us to trace the lineage. What's that?
Yeah, definitely.
After the World Wars, for sure. Yeah.
After World War One, if I remember correctly, the biggest reason a lot of German Americans changed their name was after World War One.
Oh yeah, and that's why you call it the House of Windsor now, and not the House of what is it? It was like Gothica or something. Yeah, it's like German something. Yeah.
The House of something no Brit would ever be able to pronounce.
It's like Saxe Gothica or some shit.
Yeah. Gothica. Oh, yeah.
It's got Gothica in the name, which I always thought was kind of badass. But yeah, the problem with doing Irish ancestry, like my family is. I did 23andMe test. It's just like Irish to on top of Irish all the way, but you can't really do a lot of very good genealogy because you just get back to. First of all, it's all church records you're following. You can't. There's nothing really else. You're just following parish records, like birth records, funeral stuff.
Yeah.
But then you hit the potato famine. It's all gone. Everything just. It's a brick wall. It sucks.
Let's not talk about the British and the famine, shall we? Because I feel like the Irish are going to come out in a minute and be like, 800 years! 800 years!
Should have been a bit longer, you fucking fags.
Oh, man. Seems the British were eating pretty well during that potato famine, right?
No, they sure were, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing about the potato famine people don't know is the reason why the Irish suffered so much is because potatoes were what people ate. It's not the only thing growing in the entire country. They had, they still had cattle, they still had sheep, they had all kinds of different foodstuffs, but that was being exported to places like India and stuff because it was being controlled by the British Crown. So yeah, it was very much a controlled famine,
centralized government and whatnot.
Yeah, some good jobs. So basically, what it was like, okay, well, we'll just ship out all the other stuff, and they'll eat potatoes, and then the potatoes got sick, and then all the potatoes died, and then everything.
Poor potatoes.
Yeah, and then all the people died.
Yeah, I think part of the problem was they were using only one type of potato, so that when that blight came, it basically affected all the crops.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, famine and its part in history, I saw a documentary once that attributed the French Revolution in part, obviously, to the famine they had been experiencing for a great number of years leading up to it. But they attribute that famine to the royalty in France in those days. Basically said anything that came from the ground, any tuber, carrot, anything, any root vegetable was evil because it came out of the ground. So they were left with basically growing wheat and anything above the ground.
Wasn't that more of a Catholic thing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. When the famine came, it struck down all of their wheats and such, and they had no root.
Interesting.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we should call it time here.
Yes.
Because I'm just gonna get more fucking pissed here, and we have no idea where this is gonna land.
You're gonna tell Aiden to get his tits out, and
hey, if he's got a herbaceous rack hanging down there, what can I say?
I don't think he can match Amy's, so no.
It is a bit of a wiener fest, so let's be honest.
Yeah. I think it's been nice.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. It was a good time.
Yeah.
Good chat.
Thanks for coming on. Thank you, Aiden, too.
Thank you for putting up with us during a drunken state and whatnot.
Hey, no problem.
Sorry, maybe. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, sorry I didn't bend the knee. Sorry I didn't bend the knee.
Plenty of time for you to bend the knee.
Time.
Plenty of time, mate.
Well,
don't let us just sit around.
The Imperial State Crowns have plenty of time. We've been around for a long, long time. We can wait a couple more years. It's
no, don't let these Imperial guys push you around. It's okay.
Aiden, shut up!
Aiden, we got a bit of a history there. I like to think of it as 2-0.
All right. On that note.
Thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you.
I'm sure, Tice, do you want to end this and tell everyone we love them?
Yeah, of course. We love you long time, and thank you guys for coming on. Thanks everyone for watching, either live or maybe on a later occasion. And I think also happy birthday, Jay. Bye.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Jay.
All right. Bye.